Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We've spent the last few deep dives really defining the raw data that runs a modern digital product team.
Mm-hmm. The building
Well,
blocks.
exactly. We mastered the what with labels, tagging and classifying every single piece of work.
Right.
And we really nailed down the when with milestones.
Defining timelines, sprints, all of that.
Right. But all that information, all those perfectly labeled issues, they just kind of sit there. They're static data until you bring them to life.
Exactly. We are transitioning now from the, let's call it the definition layer to the execution layer.
Okay.
This is where the work gets visualized, where that abstract data structure we built transforms into a living, moving pipeline.
And that's our focus today. It's all about boards, the visual manifestation of that workflow. This is really the ultimate how. Our mission in this deep dive is to look past the beautiful drag and drop interface and really uncover the underlying technical intelligence.
Yeah.
There's a surprising amount of synchronization that turns a simple visual tool into a source of clean, reliable project data.
And if you're trying to understand how this whole visualization system works, you have to start at the foundation.
Okay.
The single most important concept is that these boards are entirely driven by the structure we already discussed. They're driven by labels.
Okay, so help us connect those dots clearly. When we define those status labels like status.todo, status.doing, status.done, are those the specific labels that literally dictate the columns on the board?
They're the building blocks.
Yes.
You choose which labels you want to track, and those become your columns or lists, as they're called.
Yeah.
But here's the intelligence that makes this system so much better than, say, a physical whiteboard with sticky notes. It's the mechanism that ensures the visual status is always true.
What is that mechanism?
It's what you can think of as a two-way street synchronization.
A two-way street. Okay.
So let's imagine you drag an issue card from your to-do column
Yeah.
and you drop it into the doing column on your board.
Yeah.
The moment you drop it, the system automatically removes the status.todo label from that issue and instantly applies the status.doing label, all in the background.
So wait, the visual action, me dragging the card, is actually a data update in real time.
Yes.
It's not just moving a picture around, it's changing the fundamental metadata of the task itself.
Precisely. And it works in reverse. So if a team member is, I don't know, working in the repository and they manually edit an issue, they replace the status.doing label with status.done. The card instantly jumps across the board into the done column. No one even has to touch the visual interface.
I see the power of that, but why is that so essential? Why should, the program manager or the team lead listening right now really care that the data is synchronized? Isn't it enough that the board just looks right?
It's essential because it builds trust and it enables auditing.
Ah, auditing.
Yeah. If you rely on some non-integrated system, the visual board might say done, but the underlying data, the issue itself, might still be marked in progress.
Which leads to all sorts of reporting errors.
Total reporting errors. But with this two-way street, the integrity of your history is preserved. Every drag, every column change is logged as a label change on the issue.
So you can go back and see the history.
You can accurately audit exactly when the work moved from doing to review to done.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about looking good in the moment. It's about providing clean, reliable data for, historical analysis, forecasting, maybe even resource allocation.
Absolutely.
If I know that dragging a card is the same thing as applying a label, then I know my capacity planning and my velocity metrics down the road. They're based on fact, not just a visual guess.
That's the real benefit. It solves that classic project management problem where the visual status constantly drifts away from the actual data status.
That makes perfect sense for a single team. But here's where it gets really interesting for me.
Okay.
Because work rarely happens in a vacuum, right? A large company doesn't have just one repository or one team. They have dozens.
Many.
So how does the system handle that kind of massive scale, that cross-functional work?
This brings us to the crucial difference between the two scopes of boards. You have the project board and the group board.
Okay, let's start with the one most people probably know, the project board.
Sure.
That lives within a single repository, a single project. It visualizes the workflow for only the issues that are contained right there. It's a clean, single team view.
It's the standard contained view.
Yeah.
It's designed for focused delivery by one team. But as soon as you move into the large organization, the majority of important initiatives require multiple teams working in different code bases.
Right. Think of a major product feature rollout. You'd need work from The mobile team, the web front-end team, the back-end API team.
And those teams all live in 3 separate projects.
And if they all use separate project boards, the program manager is left, frantically jumping between 3 different screens trying to piece together the status of one feature?
Precisely. That was the old pain point. You had visibility into silos, but zero visibility into the coordinated effort. This is why the group board exists. Because it lives at the organizational or group level, it automatically aggregates and pulls issues from all of the individual projects that sit underneath that parent group.
Okay, so instead of me having to peer into 3 different keyholes to understand my launch status, I can just walk into one unified room.
That is a great analogy. It gives management that necessary high-level overview. And here's a critical application example for you. If you're the learner prepping for a product launch or a big meeting,
Let's hear it.
imagine you're launching feature X, right? And you've created a group milestone called Q3 feature X launch.
Okay, a milestone that exists at the group level, not the project level.
Correct. And you assign that group milestone to every single related issue. And it doesn't matter if that issue lives in the mobile project, the web project, or the back-end project.
I follow. So the issues are physically stored in different places, but they are all logically linked by that one group milestone.
Exactly. So now when you create your group board, you set it to filter specifically for that Q3 feature X launch milestone. And suddenly,
Let me guess.
all 300 issues across those 3 repositories appear on one single board, marching from to-do to done.
That is true program management visibility.
It is.
It allows me to immediately spot bottlenecks in the workflow, regardless of which team is responsible. If I see, 80% of the issues piling up in the backend review column, I know exactly where I need to apply resources, even though those issues technically belong to 3 different component teams.
You've just identified the core utility. It shifts the focus from team capacity to organizational throughput.
Right.
It ensures that the visual representation of the work reflects the true high-level business objective, which is getting feature X launched, rather than just tracking component tasks.
Yeah. Okay, so the group board solves the scaling problem of scope. But what about the scaling problem of complexity?
What do you mean?
Well, if I have this one gigantic unified group board, different teams underneath it might have totally legitimate, highly specialized internal workflows.
Sure.
The UX team might need columns like design.review and design.prototype, while the QA team needs QA.testpassed and QA.regression required. How can one board respect those specialized processes while still keeping that unified view?
That is the exact challenge that leads us to the final and I think most powerful layer of customization, list types.
List types.
This is where we move beyond just simple status columns driven by basic labels, and we introduce columns driven by some pretty sophisticated filtering.
I like the sound of that. It suggests we can create columns based on criteria that cut across the standard workflow.
That's a good way to put it.
So what are the key types we need to master here?
We should probably focus on 3 essential list types that give you those contextual cross-cutting views. You've got milestone lists, assign lists, and epic lists.
Okay, let's take them one by one. Milestone list.
Okay, so the milestone list. This allows you to create a column that shows only issues assigned to a specific named milestone. Let's say sprint 14.
Oh.
The moment an issue gets assigned that milestone, it just appears in that list, regardless of its current status label.
Okay, that's a powerful distinction. A standard column shows where the work is, its status. But a milestone list shows when the work is due.
Exactly.
I could use that to create a column called This Week's Commitment, which would instantly give me a snapshot of everything we promised to finish in the current sprint.
Precisely. It's a dedicated window focused purely on a time-based commitment.
I like that. Okay, what about the second one? The assignee list.
The assignee list. This is fantastic for individual contributors. It lets you create a column showing all issues assigned to a specific person.
Ah, so it merges personal accountability with the overall workflow.
It does.
That helps bridge that gap between, the universal human need for a personal to-do list and the shared reality of the team board.
Yeah, you got it. It's essentially a personalized workload tracker living right alongside the shared pipeline.
I can see managers using that.
Oh, for sure. If you're a manager, you can add an assignee list for a team member who might be showing signs of being overloaded. It gives you immediate visual context of their workload without having to drill down into their personal profile.
That's useful. Okay, and finally, the epic list. For those who might be newer to large-scale project tracking, can you briefly frame what an epic represents?
Sure. Think of an epic as a large, overarching initiative, like a significant product feature that might take months to complete and contains dozens, maybe hundreds, of smaller issues.
So the epic list.
It allows you to create a column that shows every single issue that is linked to that one specific epic.
Wow. That's the ultimate project tracking mechanism. I can see the forest and the trees at the same time.
It lets you track the progress of that large feature from concept all the way to delivery, cutting across sprints and even teams.
Okay, let's run a combined scenario for the listener to see this flexibility in action.
Good idea.
So I'm a high-level program manager, again, managing that huge product launch with a group board. I'm mostly focused on the flow of work, so I keep the standard workflow columns to do, doing, review, done driven by my status labels.
Which defines the process.
Right. But I also know our biggest customer feature, let's call it feature A, is tied to the marketing Q2 push epic. I can add a specific epic list column called Feature A Progress.
Okay.
And now that column only shows issues related to that marketing goal, no matter what their status is.
And if you notice that column is suddenly filling up, that tells you feature A is dominating the workload, which might be fine, but it's intentional. You are tracking the business goal visually.
Exactly. Then maybe I realize that feature A is dependent on one senior engineer. Let's just call her Sarah. And I'm worried about her capacity. I can add a specific assignee list column for Sarah's current workload right next to the epic column.
And now you have 3 layers of meaning visible simultaneously. You've got the broad organizational process from the label,
The process, yep.
the specific business goal from the epic list, and the individual resource allocation from the assignee list.
All on one screen.
All on one screen. This flexibility means that every single user, from the individual contributor all the way up to the CTO, can customize a view that is meaningful to their specific role. And they're all relying on the same clean, synchronized issue data.
That is the genius of this layered approach. You don't have to build a new tool for every management challenge. You just add a new list type to the same board.
It's the ultimate demonstration of data reuse and visual customization serving a strategic need.
So what does this all mean? Let's try to synthesize the core knowledge we've gathered from this deep dive into boards.
Yeah, these are the high-impact points you should definitely carry forward.
Okay, recap 1. Boards are fundamentally driven by labels. That two-way street synchronization between the visual column and the issue data, that is the core mechanic that keeps everything reliable and auditable.
Recap 2. For any complex multi-team initiative, you have to abandon single project boards. You have to rely on group boards to aggregate issues across repositories. That provides the cross-project visibility you need for unified program management.
Got it. And recap 3. You can tailor your visual dashboard to meet really specific strategic needs, whether that's tracking time, resources, or big initiatives, by using the powerful list types like milestones, assignees, and epics.
At the end of the day, boards are the essential bridge. They take the raw, structured data of issues and labels, and they translate it instantly into the human understanding of overall project status.
I see.
Without this visualization layer, you have perfect ingredients, but you have no organized kitchen to cook in.
I love that analogy. It gives you the operational overview you need to move fast. And that leads me to one final provocative thought that builds on everything we've discussed about data cleanliness.
Ooh, okay.
We talked about how reliable the system is because dragging a card adds one status label. So consider how this entire synchronization system might fail if teams aren't disciplined about applying only one status label at a time.
That lack of discipline would challenge the core integrity.
Yeah.
If an issue somehow has both status.doing and status.review, where does the card appear on the board?
Good question.
The system can't know which column is the truth. The card might fail to appear, or it might appear incorrectly, and that just forces you back to manual cleanup.
Indeed. It seems visual tools are only as reliable as the data discipline behind them, something to mull over as you begin building out your next unified workflow.
Always remember, garbage in, confusing visual out.
A perfect note to end on. Thank you for guiding us through this crucial layer of visualization.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us for another deep dive. We hope this provided you with the quick knowledge and aha moments you needed to master the art of visualizing work. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.